Hello all, this is Jerry Levine at PAC TV's Test Kitchen and Marcia Richards at the Plymouth Senior Center. We are broadcasting our cooking show, Delicious and Nutritious. And we would like to also thank the Beth Israel Hospital and Healthy Plymouth for supporting us. Today we're going to do a recipe, but we're also going to learn a technique. And the technique is a technique that the French call in paper, and it's in papillote, but we're going to use foil. And the reason why we're going to use foil is because it's easier to operate with than to use parchment paper. So, what is our recipe? Our recipe is haddock and mushrooms and baby artichokes with a balsamic sauce. It's going to go into a package, and the package is going to be made out of aluminum foil. Notice the aluminum foil that I'm using is heavy duty, and that is important in this because otherwise the lighter foil won't work. Now, the technique of taking some protein and some vegetables and some kind of a sauce and putting it into a package, it can be done with anything. It can be done with chicken. It can be done with beef, pork, or just with plain vegetables. When I was a Boy Scout, we used to do it with hamburger and some onions and potatoes and salt and pepper and a little bit of ketchup and throw the whole thing into a fire. And that's how we ate. So today we're doing fish. The fish that we're using is haddock. It is a nice, clean, white fish, not overly strong, but you can also use codfish, you can use tilapia, you can use salmon, and which I like to do, but anything can be used. This is approximately a 6-ounce portion. So what do? First thing we do is we take our foil, and I recommend using a piece that's about 18 inches, so it's 18 inches from here to here. And we're going to have a piece that's about 14 inches. And we're going to cut that open right there. There we go. And we're going to lay the piece of foil down here like this. And we're going to do a fold. And the only reason that I'm doing a fold and I'm reopening it is because this gives me the center line, because I want everything sitting in the center. Good point. Okay. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of filet and we are going to salt it. Notice how I salt. I'm salting way up in the air like this. Why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing it for one reason, is that I get better distribution and it's more even. If I were doing it here, we'd get a pile here and a little bit over there and so forth. So I'm salting high here. And now we're going to do some pepper. And we're going to flip it over. And we're going to do some more pepper. And then we're going to move it up here for 1 second. And we are going to take some mushrooms. And we're going to put some mushrooms on the bottom. And I like to put the mushrooms and the artichokes both on the bottom and the top. Now, what's a good way to prepare the mushrooms? First thing you do is you cut off the end, and you do this, and you take it like this. And the easiest way to slice a mushroom is by just, notice how we're doing a nice, easy up and down motion. Okay. About 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch is about what we're going to do. Now, one question. What do you do if you've got some of the growth material on the mushroom. I like to use a paper towel. The problem with taking it and running it underwater is that it becomes a little bit slippery and oily, and the mushroom just loves to absorb water. So that's why we're not doing that. Paper towel works beautifully. So we take the end off of that, and we take this, and we do this, and we lay it down again, and laying it down again gives you that stability. Notice how I'm curling my fingers because I don't want to lose one of them. And up and down the mushroom goes. These are white mushrooms. White mushrooms tend to have the least amount of flavor, but that's all right. So we're going to put this right here, and we're going to get our baby artichokes. Now these little lovely guys they're very young, and they don't have the choke in the inside of it, so you don't have to clean them out. So all we're going to do is, and these come from, there's a number of companies that produce them. They're in a brine sauce, and notice what I'm doing here, just a little up and down motion, and a little more up and down motion here, and then we're going to cut this guy in half, and we're going to do some more up and down motion, and up and down motion. There we go. So put a few of these on the bottom, and we've got the bottom layer done. We take our fish, put it right on top. Notice how nice and centered it is, and we do the same thing up on the top with the artichoke. Why are we using balsamic vinegar? Well, we're going to use balsamic vinegar because I think it has a really nice, interesting flavor, and it will add to the fish, because remember, this is a fish that has very mild, very nice, light flavor. Okay, next thing, balsamic vinegar. Do not use an inexpensive balsamic vinegar, but you do not have to use a balsamic vinegar that is the type that you want to sip out of a glass. Just get something in between the two. You can buy it in the supermarket. Now, I'm just going to take, and I requested that you use a tablespoon, but I know about what I want, so I know when I'm going to hit a tablespoon. So that's that. And the final thing is a little bit of dried basil. And my recommendation is to use a 1/4 teaspoon. And so we're going to use roughly a 1/4 teaspoon. And because I've been doing things like this for a while, I do understand when I reached a 1/4 teaspoon. At least I hope I do. One final thing is we have a little bit of butter here, which we're going to put on the top. Notice what I'm doing with the butter. You see how I'm cutting it back on the blade like this? And the reason I'm doing that is because it's going to be easier to get off the blade. So now I take a piece here, I take a little piece here, and I take a little piece there. And why the butter? It's going to give a richness. It's going to give that, what we call in the business, umami. Now, take the front piece, take the back piece, bring them together. Notice why I folded it, because now I've got them so that they're even, and I'm going to slowly start to roll. And I'm rolling them and continuing to roll. And I take my finger and I feel until where the end of the fish is, and I then fold this over. And I do the same here, and I then fold it over. There we go. Now you got this nice little lovely package, and it's not even leaking. Nothing's coming out. And that's exactly what we want to do. The next thing is that this needs to go onto a sheet pan, and we always use one with a rim. So even if it does leak, it's not going to go all over and make a real mess. And we're going to stick that in. 450 degrees, and how much time? 10, 12 minutes, maybe 15 minutes of cooking time. Why am I not being more precise? It all has to do with the thickness of the piece of fish. So what you really want to do is, my favorite thing in life is a thermometer. So I would cook this for about 12 minutes, and then I would stick my thermometer in. What do I want for temperature? About 140 degrees. Okay, below that, it's not going to be cooked enough. Above that, it's going to start to dry out. The worst thing in the world is a piece of fish that is dried out. Okay, now, preheated oven, 450. And we are heading for the preheated oven right now. And we're going to wait 12 minutes. Okay, that's 12 minutes. And the modern chemistry of television, we now have our product done. And this should be roughly where we want it. Now, what do we do? We're going to let it sit here for a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you what to serve with this. You could serve this with a little bit of pasta, with a light tomato sauce. You could do it with rice. Basmati rice would be phenomenal with this. Any kind of carbohydrate, but be careful with the amount of sauce that you put on here. And the other thing is that when we open up the packet is going to have some sauce, so you can drizzle that on the top of the rice. And when we are, also, if you'd like, this would be delicious with some steamed broccoli or anything green. Green is healthy. Okay, let us prepare our product. Extremely important that there is steam in here, live steam. This can burn you. So I do not suggest you start unfolding and then putting your face over this. What I would suggest doing is taking some shears or scissors, and you notice we're just cutting our way through here. And we're cutting some more.
So Jerry, while you're cutting,
and that came off here, and that's fine. And we're just cutting our way through. Now, see the steam coming out? This is really a live cooking show. We're actually doing it here. So, now, look at the sauce that's in there. Excellent. Even I'm impressed. So, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to gently lift this and put it on our serving platter. And we are going to just slide it gently off of here.
Jerry, that looks absolutely beautiful.
That is absolutely beautiful.
And it's also really healthy. I just wanted to kind of comment on a few of the nutrients. One of them being selenium. I don't know if everybody's heard of selenium, but it's considered a trace mineral. And haddock has almost 50% of the selenium that we need. And not only is this a beautiful, elegant meal, but the selenium is very beautiful for your immune system. It has been associated with decreasing chronic disease development, like heart disease. The mushrooms are also an awesome source of selenium. So we've got a nutrient-packed meal as usual. Protein, also another great thing for our immune system. And the artichoke, those baby artichoke hearts, also have a lot of antioxidants, which help to keep us healthy. So this is such a great meal for you to share with everybody. It's low in sodium, it's low in fat, it's high in nutrients, and extraordinarily affordable. So Jerry's made 4 6-ounce packets, all said and done for under $30. So this is quite a great meal.
I would like to say one thing about the price. The haddock was on sale this weekend. But if you want something that's a little bit less expensive, try codfish, try tilapia. But haddock's one of my favorite things.
It looks beautiful.
I think so.
I like the green.
This is a single serving, by the way.
Yeah, so it's a good size serving. There's probably about 25 grams of protein in that serving, which is very significant. We should all try to get, 20 to 30 grams of protein at a meal to support our immune system and muscle. But it looks beautiful.
Marcia, do you have any questions that you would like to ask me or that somebody else would?
Does anyone have any questions for Jerry?
Oh, that's a shame.
Okay, so the question is, and I think I might be able to answer it, is sometimes on a recipe, things are listed at grams.
Yes.
And converting those grams to ounces. But I think it might pertain to the label for nutrients like protein is grams.
Do you want to give her the conversion?
Yeah, so we should try to have at least 60 grams of protein per day. That's a general rule. But some people might need more or less based on their health. When it comes to the vitamins and the minerals and fiber, they're all listed as grams. And we should try to have 25 grams of fiber a day. The artichokes in this recipe, we're probably getting about 5 to 10, give or take. So the fish or the actual food we might measure in ounces, but the nutrients are so small, we tend to measure them in grams and milligrams. Does that help? Okay. Okay.
28.4 grams to an ounce.
Yeah. Don't you love remembering things?
Oh, I love it. Makes me feel like
Anybody
I've
else
learned
have a
something.
question? No? Oh, we have another question.
Please.
Mm-hmm. Calcium and protein. So the question is, as we age, is protein as important as calcium? And I would say, yeah, more and more research is showing that protein is very important as we get older. And sources of protein are things like fish and chicken, turkey, but we can get plant-based as well. Soy, soybean, tofu, nuts. Grains give us a little bit of protein. Dairy foods give us protein. So the protein is important. We should try to have protein at each meal. And then it's a whole different story.
So shouldn't I'm about
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that can happen. Too much, it can happen. And I can't speak specifically to how much protein you have because you've shared that there's specific concern. But as a general rule, 60 grams of protein would not be an excessive amount of protein in a day. And there are rules of thumb for how many grams, but every person is definitely individual. So for this particular show, we need to be careful about, yeah. You should get some good advice from a dietitian, from your doctor, specific to you. So, and that's important for everybody watching, that we talk about nutrients in general forms, but if you've been advised to have more or less of something, you need to pay attention to that recommendation because it's for your unique situation. But food is the best source of protein. That one I'll
I
stay
agree.
true. Any other questions? Oh, we have a question. Did you hear that, Jerry?
No, I can't hear your,
Oh, okay.
I can't hear the questions. I can hear you, but I cannot hear the questions.
Would this recipe work as well if the foil was not used?
Well, you need to wrap it in something to create the steam. So if you wanted to use parchment paper, it's going to be more difficult. I think the foil's the easiest thing to do. And you can see how quickly I was able to manipulate it and so forth. And it keeps things nice and clean. And you see how easily it slid off the foil onto the serving plate. And we could put some carbohydrate or put some veggies right next to it, and it would look nice.
It looks
if
beautiful.
You don't, I'm not sure the value in not using the foil. I don't see a reason for that. I think the foil makes this system so easy to work with.
Mm-hmm. What if you put it all in a pan and covered the whole pan with foil?
Well, that's a typical braising way of doing it. And yes, you can certainly do that. And it would work just as well. But this is just easy. I find this to be easier. And I really like taking the foil and walking to the table and putting it on a platter like this, cutting it open and sliding it off, because the presentation is, to me, and I've done this with a whole half a salmon on a large platter, and it looks great.
It does. It looks beautiful. And fish is just so good for us. Great protein, lean, so many varieties that we can choose from. Some are high in the omega-3s, which are being shown to be great for our brain, for reducing inflammation in our body, which is considered to be a cause of a lot of chronic illness, too. So it's beautiful, simple, easy, affordable. It's nutritious and delicious.
I agree, and just let me make one comment about fish right now. The seafood industry is doing a great job with aquaculture and raising fish, different types of fish, different types of shellfish, shrimp also. So there are plenty of fish around, and it's high quality. And as long as you treat it well and refrigerate it properly, you're going to have something that, from a nutritional point of view, certainly much better than having saturated fats.
Definitely.
And you're getting the omega-3 fatty acids.
Can you make one quick comment on the sodium tripolyphosphate?
Sodium tripolyphosphate.
Yes.
Sodium tripolyphosphate is commonly used in the United States to, they'll put shrimp into this. You can put different types of fish. The reason for using sodium tripolyphosphate is that it absorbs and holds water. So what ends up happening, let's say you have some shrimp that's 4 ounces. You add the sodium tripolyphosphate. It's in a solution of water and sodium tripolyphosphate. It sucks up the water. So now you're selling fish, shrimp, and water. So it is not allowed in Europe. You cannot use sodium tripolyphosphate, commonly called STP. It's not allowed in Europe. You can't ship shrimp from the United States that has been soaked. And the one quick comment, and that is that scallops in the United States are soaked. If you're going to go out and pay a lot of money for scallops, make sure the scallop is slightly dull in sheen, and if it's really shiny, that is what is called the soaked scallop. Use the term dry scallop only.
Excellent. So if we're buying frozen fish, we would want to check the labels and make sure that we do not see
A frozen fish has to have a
STTP.
label, and under the ingredient statement, you want to see scallop.
That's it.
Nothing more.
Good.
You don't want to see scallop and sodium tripolyphosphate used as a stabilizer or something.
Yep. I agree. So any other questions?
Oh, Marcia, one thing, if you are interested in the recipe, I believe that we will be putting that up on the screen. So please take a look and send for the recipes. It is these are very good, simple, straightforward recipes, and we're happy to provide them.
And I will have this recipe posted on www.healthyplymouth.org. The recipes from our earlier episodes are there, as well as many other recipes.
Fine.
So I encourage everybody to go to healthyplymouth.org, and you'll find all sorts of great things.
If anyone has any thoughts about what they'd like to see for future recipes or techniques, please contact us. We're happy to try to accommodate you.
Excellent. So we're going to wrap this up. We encourage everybody to continue to watch our episodes. We love doing this. Our whole goal is to help you to eat healthy, to be healthy, do it affordably, and by all means, have it be delicious. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.